Hi, I'm Jonathan Weinberg. Today I'm going to do a quick review of the Kaweco Perkeo Calligraphy set. It's fairly inexpensive. It was around $30, and you get the pen and three nibs. This is the 1.1, the 1.5, and the 1.9. Right from the beginning, that's kind of a problem because where the Lamy calligraphy set has the same sort of deal, you get one pen and three nibs. It has like these little plastic tops that you can put on the pen, on the other nibs when you're not using them. So if you want to use them back and forth, they don't dry out. This set doesn't come with that. So unless you have other Perkeo pens, which are inexpensive, and you have other caps, you can only really use one at a time. So I think that's a problem if you're going to use it for drawing and you want to switch between the different widths. The thing to say, it comes with cartridges. It doesn't come with converters, but it will use standard international converter, so those are fairly easy to get. The pen itself is made out of plastic and is rather like the Perkeo line is sort of the cheapest of the Kaweco lines. Here's another problem that I have with it, which is that the nibs, even though they're size 5, are not interchangeable with the sport pens, which are sort of Kaweco's most popular pens. And they come in the brass version. I have a brass version of the sport. And I kind of was hoping that you could use these nibs in a pen like this, but you can. They won't fit. And they don't screw out, actually. You can pull them out. They probably would fit on, maybe might fit on a Jinhao 81 or, any pen that would take maybe a size 5 nib, but then not the sport line and all the other different Kaweco lines that will take interchangeable nibs. And that's very different from Safari, the Lamy Safari, where you can switch the nibs, and also the inexpensive Pilot pens that have calligraphy nibs will fit on, let's say, the Metropolitan, or all their different lines of their cheaper pens. So I'm not quite sure why they decided to do that, but it seems to me a real disadvantage. And I personally don't have another Kaweco Perkeo pen to put these nibs on. And I'm not sure that I want to get another one. Although the pen itself is fairly comfortable. It's plastic and very inexpensive. You can see it screws out. And this is where, of course, the cartridge would go, or you could get a converter. And then they're interchangeable. It's fairly comfortable to write with, and I suppose if you don't like the pocket pen of the sport, this is a full-size pen. But it actually clicks together, but it's really hard to open the cap and close it, which I think is another disadvantage of this particular pen. The nibs themselves are perfectly fine. Interestingly enough, I found that the wider nib were smoother and sort of wetter, has nibs in comparison to the 1.1, which was quite scratchy. So that was surprising. I do a very quick writing sample. I'm not going to draw with these pens because my whole reason for having calligraphy pens is not to do calligraphy, but to sort of use them for different line widths. And you can't do that with this because they will dry out as you're drawing with one. The other pen will dry out. Even now, they're probably drying out. So for that purpose, I would have to actually purchase two more Perkeo pens, and right now I don't want to do that. Even also, again, if you're going to switch back and forth with them with calligraphy, you'd have to do that as well. You need some more caps, or I guess you could put some plastic saran wrap on them or something while you were switching between them. But as I say, I don't think that's a great solution. So this is not I would not highly recommend this. I think, and I have reviews on my channel of the Lamy Joy pen, which I think is a much better choice. I think the various versions of the Pilot calligraphy nibs are better choices. I think the old Schaefer calligraphy kits that you can still get on eBay are a better choice than this particular one, although I normally very much like Kaweco pens, so I'm kind of disappointed. This is the Kaweco Perkeo 1.1. It is, I think they call it pearl black cartridge. And it's a bit scratchy. It's okay. A little dry. It's thin. Like a lot of stubs or italic nibs, they have sort of a sweet spot. So they tend not to be great for writing really quickly. And I am a terrible calligrapher, but so it's fine. Here is the 1.5. And I find this one a little smoother and wetter and more fun to use. Finally, this is the 1.9. I like this one the best. So probably for me, this is the nib that will stay in the pen and I will use. Thanks. If you find this at all helpful and useful, please subscribe if you find this useful.